Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to First Take. Shay Cornett here with you with a crew that's in the building, and nobody's got on a tie. Look at that. No Stephen A. today.
Thank God. We can actually talk.
That's what I'm saying.
Stephen A. I can actually get a couple of words in. Thank God.
No Stephen A. and no ties today. David Dennis Jr. is here. Vince Goodwill is here. Chris Canty's here as well. Good to see you, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Doing great, doing great. I was looking for Stephen A. Last time I was here, it was all asinine and all this stuff. I think he's ducking the smoke. I feel like he's ducking the smoke. Come here and Stephen A. here.
You know something about him. He's never ducking the smoke. That is true. Should we talk about Victor Wembanyama last night? My goodness, did he put on a show. 38 points. 16 boards, 5 blocks, just to keep it nice and casual against the East-leading Pistons. De'Aaron Fox also added 29 points in a game the Spurs never trailed. They won 121-106. Detroit has now lost 2 in a row, while San Antonio has won 13 out of their last 14. And so here's Fox on his message to Wemby after the win last night.
I told them, this is what every game's going to feel like. This is exactly what the playoffs is going to feel like. So I think we've been able to embrace that, go out. We still continue to play our game. I mean, we want to get stops, we want to get out in transition, but we know that we have to be able to take physicality and give it back as well. And we've been able to do that during this stretch.
There are many components in winning games and winning championships, and over a season, you will need a little bit of luck at some time, right? But that luck, you can make it happen, you can influence it, and this is the things that make luck happen,
Come on, dude. There's no luck in this right now. What are you talking about? Victor Wembanyama joined a very elite group in Spurs history, recording his third career game with 30 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks, the third most by a Spur. Plus, Wemby became the first player with 35 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks, and 4 three-pointers in a game since the 1979-1980 season. So we're looking at Wemby last night, and everyone's like, what is happening right now? This guy is an absolute terror. But is he the best player right now in the NBA, Vince?
You guys ever seen the movie The Usual Suspects?
Yes.
And the big reveal at the end?
Who's Kaiser Soze?
Big Slim is Kaiser Soze. He's just hiding right in front of you. He is Kaiser Soze. He is Victor Voorhees, but we're going to call him Big Slim. Because when he is impactful like this, there is not a more impactful player in the game. Because he had 5 blocks last night. I counted 15, 16 shots where players were spooked at seeing where he is and where he was. And even he was nowhere near the ball. That's the impact that he can have. I don't know if he's better than Nikola Jokic or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from a consistency basis because he only plays 29 minutes a game. But from the standpoint of what he can do, I think this playoff run is going to be generational in a way that we're going to see him being an MVP next year. You got to go through it once. You got to go through the rigors of the postseason one time, get your heart broken. I'm one of those people, Canty. I'm like the old heads that tell me all the time, you can't just go from not winning the playoff series to going to the finals. They're not going to the finals this year, but they're going to gain valuable experience, and Big Slim is going to gain so much. Canty, I can already hear you blowing smoke already.
Because you like my mama. My mama's a Methodist preacher. She's been preaching longer than I've been alive. You believe in a methodology. You believe in the progression. And what I'm telling you is Wemby's talent will allow the San Antonio Spurs to skip steps. Because as you already said, there is no player in the NBA that has the kind of gravity that Wemby has on the offensive end of the court, on the defensive end of the court. The block that he had early on Cade Cunningham was that 7.5-minute mark in the first quarter. That's an incredible play, right? Cade Cunningham on the step through. He has a way to be able to ray trace and pin the ball on the backboard. The block that he had in the fourth quarter, 8.5 minutes to go. I mean, starts a 4-on-1 fast break and ends up getting the lob from Devin Vassell. This guy is absolutely incredible. Maybe the most impressive aspect of his game, though, is how he forces defenses to collapse on the paint. And then that leads to wide open guys on the perimeter. And last night, those wide open guys took advantage of over-aggressive closeout by the Detroit Pistons, which ends up leading to layups in the paint. So when it comes to the Wemby effect, he doesn't have to show up on the stat sheet to have an outsized impact on the game.
He did. He did that too.
Well, he did that too, but it doesn't always happen every single night like that, but it doesn't take away from what he does for this team. He is the best player in this league right now in terms of both ends on the court. There is no question about it. And that's why I'm a believer in the San Antonio Spurs being able to get to the NBA Finals this year.
Yeah, if you're talking about the impact defensively, Vinny talked about people being spooked. It's a stat that I've created called the hell no with Victor Wembanyama. When you see Victor Wembanyama in the paint and you say hell no, and there are stats to back this thing up. Only 41% of the shots that the Spurs defend are in the paint, which is the lowest that we've had in the NBA ever. which means that players are seeing Wemby and they're saying, I want no parts of this dude in the paint. He is going to blow up everything that you can do offensively. He's going to blow up your pick and roll. He's going to blow up your lob. He can be in the paint and go out there and block a guy at the three-point line. That's what he does. So when you're talking about precedent and things that we've seen before, we ain't never seen Wemby before. And the closest thing that we have seen, go back to 2007, LeBron James and that Cleveland Cavaliers team. We were talking about them and that progression and being a little bit ahead of schedule. Next thing you know, he's putting up 25 points in a row against the Detroit Pistons. I'm sorry, Vinny, against that Detroit Pistons team. And they are in the finals because of what LeBron James did.
You know
Victor Wembanyama is the closest thing to that, and he has the potential to be that kind of guy.
It's funny you brought up that precedent because that is a great precedent. You know what happened in 2006? LeBron had a playoff run. They got to the second round. They got to the seventh game against those same Detroit Pistons, and they lost. And that's what I'm saying. The Spurs are not a championship caliber team right now. That's no shot to them because they didn't expect to be a championship caliber team this season. They are a year ahead of schedule. They don't have that desperation, those expectations. That's Denver. That's the Lakers. That's the champion Thunder. Those are the teams that have to win. The Lakers always have to win. They said championship expectations. I say it was realistic.
There you go.
We're comparing the Spurs to the Lakers now. Come on.
Look, I can expect to date Kelly Rowland. It don't mean that it's realistic. It just means I can have expectations. That's where the Lakers are. I'm saying that San Antonio, they're moving incrementally. And I think when you look at teams, San Antonio, Detroit, the fact that they didn't make moves at the trade deadline to bolster shooting and shot creation lets me know that the front office, that the ownership does not want to skip steps and they're willing to let their natural progression percolate on its own.
What will it take for you to be convinced that the Spurs could be a championship team this year? Well, is there anything that could maybe convince you?
Yeah, them being there. Or if Shea gets hurt or Chet gets hurt or something opens up. I think them beating Oklahoma City 4 out of 5 times, including in the NBA Cup, that raised the level of expectations outside. I think in a 7-game playoff series, y'all, you guys know it's a different sport. It's not regular season basketball. It's a totally different sport, and I'm anxious to see what they're going to do. I'll be impressed, but I don't have the expectation.
All right, let me put this out there also. When we're talking about heartbreak, I know it's not in the NBA, but Victor Wembanyama played one of the most intense basketball games we've ever seen, a gold medal game against Team USA. Now, I know it's not playoffs. I know it's kind of an apples to orange, but it is still a high-level game against the best players in the world, and you lost that game and you experienced that heartbreak. That is something that can bolster you come playoff times. In addition to that, when I'm looking at the Spurs, they're checking all the boxes of what you do as a playoff-ready team. They have 25 wins against teams that are above 500. They've beaten the best teams in the league with OKC and Detroit by double digits. This is what championship-level teams do. And what impressed me so much about what Wemby did last night, the first time they played Detroit, Jalen Duren and them were giving them so much trouble.
They were beating him up.
They were beating him up. He could not score. He says, fine, I'm going to play again. Jalen Duren, I don't want to see you on the court. 4 fouls like that. Get off the court. That is veteran-level savvy that you're doing in real time. Mm-hmm. The things that you felt like you could do to defend Wemby early in the season, you can't do anymore. He is on a different level, which I feel like is why you can skip some of these steps with a guy like that.
He can. Can they?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if they can defend the way that they've shown, having a top 3 defensive rating, if Steph Castle keeps guys like Cade Cunningham, who's a top 3 MVP candidate in a straitjacket like he's done the last 2 games, they absolutely can. I mean, last year, we praised Oklahoma City, and we had confidence in them going on a deep run because of how they defended, being able to generate so many turnovers, being able to get out in transition and get easy buckets. That is the San Antonio Spurs this year. You've got to be able to play defense in the playoffs. That's when it matters the most. And I'm not sure that any team has the type of versatility defensively that the San Antonio Spurs are bringing to the party because of a guy like Victor Wembanyama, but then also because of how those perimeter pieces can defend and what they've shown, especially in the second half of this season.
I think generally in the playoffs, you're going to learn this is a different sport as far as the value of shooting in today's game. The Spurs are a middle-of-the-pack, at best, 3-point shooting team. When the lane collapses, the refereeing gets a lot tougher. Teams are going to load up on Victor and start putting their elbows into his torso and pushing him out. He has to learn how to play that level of basketball. I get your point on the Olympics, but it's different when you're playing every other day for 2 weeks, the same team, and how the game planning goes.
All right, let's go to the other side of this, the Pistons, because they lead the East right now, but they just got, I'm not going to say blown out, but they were beat by 15 yesterday.